All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Going to be touching on the top prop bets today on PrizePicks and Underdog. Kind of a decent day, I would say, today, at least right now, for PrizePicks purposes. And I kind of want to start there, but I want to get into that in just a second because I want to call out some discrepancies that we have as well. Specifically in the MMA, I'm not sure how long that these are going to last. These seem like pretty good edges for us. And so, again, if these are still there, these edges that we are projecting to see right now, I think that could be a nice spot for us edgewise with these top two ones to potentially middle. Like that should not be happening for significant strikes. And I know it's MMA, people can get knocked out and whatnot, but the fact that we are seeing that big of a difference to me is a little bit shocking. And so that is something that I think we should be targeting right there, right away. These MMA significant strike differences, like really good middling opportunity just with these top really three. And so I did want to point that out, especially if you are someone maybe that's trying to stretch a 4-slip bet into a 5-slip bet or a 5-slip bet into a 6-slip bet. I think that's a good route to go. So I don't mind that. And so let's go ahead and start with PrizePicks. And so I mentioned yesterday, the PrizePicks board that we had wasn't as good as the Underdog board. That ended up coming to fruition, ended up having a profit of 0.5 units, so a half a unit. And that's kind of the good thing about Underdog, I should mention, is that with their increased payout, that is why I've been trying to do more 5 and 6 slip bets. So that has been kind of the nice sweet spot there. But PrizePicks wise, we are getting a better board today. We can start out with Tanner Huck to get under his pitching fantasy score of 38.5. We can see that this is clearly an outlier here for him to get this under. The issue is that he could potentially get a quality start. Okay, does average that. And a big problem as well is that he does have the potential to get a win. At the same time, higher scoring games, so you kind of expect him to get hit. And basically every data point that we have coming in is telling us that Tanner Huck should most likely get that under. And so I want to see his game log here. Yeah, he's been struggling. Now, it is a matchup against Oakland. Some people are probably going to be excited to attack that, but yeah, I mean, one game where he's been able to get the over recently, obviously that's encouraging as well. So that is clearly the best bet that we have on the board today to me. I know we have Austin Riley there to get over his hits, runs, RBIs. I don't mind that one as well. We can see the average sportsbook line is favoring the under, but they're favoring the under at about 1.83. So that tells me one of the sportsbooks probably has the line a little bit differently. So still not a bad one. And then Rauschman, he was a big disappointment yesterday, PrizePicks wise. It's kind of what do we do with that, right? He's coming in off of a bad game, a game where he let us down. I'm typically fine going back to the well. I wish the game was a little bit higher scoring there. And then from there, a couple of decent ones here for pitching strikeout props. I typically, as you guys know, don't like to target these ones. Like for Mackenzie Gore, if we're going to bet him to get under his pitching strikeouts, at already a reduced rate of 6.5, it's dropped down to 6. I wouldn't mind the idea of actually just going with him to get under his pitching fantasy score. But that's not exactly one that's really popping up, so no need to force that. Aaron Judge for under his fantasy score. You guys can do with that one if you want to. A decent one here is Brandon Nemo for under his PrizePicks hitting fantasy score. And so looking at right now, yeah, lower scoring game, they do have the potential to win, but really across the board, this one is telling us that he should be able to get his under here. So that's another decent one that we have. Luis Castillo to get under his pitching fantasy score. Again, the PrizePicks line that we have there is going to be the outlier data point. So that's another one that looks pretty good for us today. So again, a decent board that we have for the most part. And obviously we like that for MLB purposes. So for me though, right away, I think these two right here would be the two that I'm most comfortable with MLB wise as it sits right now. Obviously, throughout the day, we're going to get more and more prop bets that we can attack, but these are the two that I think are the best for MLB today. We could also toss in Castillo to get under his pitching fantasy score as well. So, if we're looking for a 3-bet stack, we can roll with that. So let's go ahead and jump on into WNBA today. Also a decent-ish board, I would say. So we got first one with Mabry to get under her rebounds and assists of 8.5. Don't exactly like the fact that the projection day has given her 9.8, but still not bad. We got Stewart to get under her fantasy score. We can see that, Vegas would have this line about 3.5. The projection data has it about 44 as well. Average Vegas line would be favoring the under as well at 43.5. That's decent. If we look at her game log as well, we're going to see that kind of consistent performances from her. So that kind of gives us a good indication that Vegas is probably going to be more right here, if that makes sense, where we're not seeing that high roller coaster where it's going to be tougher to predict. At least Vegas is kind of telling us that, all right, we can kind of accurately project her. So that's another good one that we have. So kind of 4 bets right now that I think are good. We got this one, and then the 2 MLB prop bets, or the 3 MLB prop bets that I already mentioned. If you guys want to run out the rebounds and assists there, you can do that. Add in 5, but that's where I kind of wanted to start with showing you guys those MMA discrepancies that we're getting, because that's going to create a little bit of a middle for us. And again, middles are not always going to hit, but the fact that they give us a chance to hit, obviously, we like that. So let's go ahead and now. I mean, I don't know if I really need to give you guys that bet of the day. I mean, that's probably what I'm looking at. I'll probably do this one actually. Middle here, so I'd be betting the under for PrizePicks on this one. Toss in Brianna Stewart for under her fantasy score. And then we can go to MLB. And then again, these 3 are probably my favorites then that I'd be rolling with then. Ones that I highlighted. And so that's a little 5 bet stack that we have already for PrizePicks. And I think that's a decent edge that we have. So I do want to go ahead and jump on into Underdog now. So let's go ahead and make that switch. So Underdog wise, it is another kind of decent board. We got Jack Flaherty to get over his pitching fantasy score, which is an interesting one. We can already see it just with some of the lines that we're getting for him, like his earned runs, where Underdog has it set at 2. But if he gets under 2, that obviously gives him a decent chance if he goes 6 innings to get. Let's go to the MLB tab so we can look at it a little bit further. But obviously, that gives him a better chance of getting his over fantasy score. Averages about 5.3, has the potential to win low scoring games. So that all kind of adds up to him potentially getting a quality start, potentially getting a win. That adds up to him being a good over fantasy score. And then we can run this one out as well. Still, like even when we adjust the Underdog line scoring or the PrizePicks scoring on the Underdog side, we can still see that this one is a little bit too high. And so that's one I'd be happy to run out. We got Marte for over his hitting fantasy score. That's decent. And it's a weird thing. Underdog has just been a little bit softer with their lines as a whole. And so we've been getting bigger, better edges on Underdog a little bit more so than on PrizePicks with MLB this season, which is obviously we like that. Stephen Kwan on both sites is actually not bad. Let's see. We'll get into WNBA as well. So here's one where, if it's still available, and let's see. Yeah, no, they just bumped that up during the video, so that's unfortunate. So that one's not there. Again, that's why I typically like to more so do the fantasy score prop bets, just because I know that they're going to be there by the time a lot of people get in here if they're not watching it live. We got Brianna Stewart again for under her fantasy score. We also have Sabrina for under her fantasy score. So 2 decent ones. I wouldn't say we need to force those in today. Obviously, I do want to be doing more of a 5 slip bet or 6 slip bet on the Underdog. I don't like, do we want to force that in there today? It feels like we have 2 really good prop bets with Flaherty for over his fantasy score and then Huck for under his fantasy score. Like that feels pretty solid today. And so I don't know if I exactly want to do it, but let's try. Let's try to do that. Let's see. We got a couple comments coming in. Yeah, so there is all right, did they come out with it? I saw them tweet something that they're going to drop an Underdog discount. I'm not seeing it just yet. Maybe I just need a refresh, but nice. So we could potentially just run 4 bets and then add the 5th one in there with the discount. Then again, obviously, I'll just randomly do something here. And we got a question about Angel Reese and Stewart as well, so I'll touch on that. Not sure where the 10.5 is coming in for Reese, but Stewart points. Let's see. Are you teasing these? Like, where are you getting those lines where it's that much lower? I'm not sure. Interesting. But yeah, let's go ahead and give an underdog bet. Let me get that queued up on my side. And then I'll give you guys that. So 1 second here. So underdog wise, gonna do Flaherty. And that game's going live here shortly. So obviously we do want to be using that one if we can. And we are getting some decent esports discounts. Oh, those are the discounts. Okay, nice. Sorry, that makes more sense. Okay, that makes more sense for underdog. So probably Stewart then, if that's off by 5. It's probably the best one because hers was at 19.5. Even though the under is favored there, like that's still a big discount. So we're probably rolling with that one. I'll just pull this up so you guys can see as well. So Flaherty, we got Tanner. Oh, they took it off. No. Did they do that for PrizePicks as well? No, we're still good on PrizePicks. So guys, if you guys are watching this live, like we can already see underdog. They might actually be bumping it up because their line is so different compared to underdog. But at the same time, we can still see that the clear outlier line is going to be Huck for under his fantasy score. So like that's one, like if you're watching this live, we should probably be using that one just as an FYI. So this is annoying now. Curious to see what that'll be updated to. That's a good point. That's a great point here. So yeah, if we are running out Stewart under fantasy score to get to that 5 slip bet, 4 slip bet with the discount to make it a 5 slip bet, 5 or 6 slip bet there. That's a good point. That's a very good point because we wouldn't want to force Stewart in there then or use a worse. That's a good point. At the same time, we could just run out a 3 slip bet if really just depending on where that one comes out to be. But we could do Marte for over his hitting fantasy score and still use Jack for over his fantasy score. I might be leaning more towards that. That's definitely an interesting thought process there, though. But again, we do like to target more 3 slip bets on underdog just because it pays out a little bit better. Honestly, underdog has been a little bit better just in general lately, just with better payouts. So I think I'm going to run this out for the bet of the day underdog wise, and then just include the Brianna Stewart one, the discount. But if you guys would like to run out, more 5 slip or 6 slip bet, by all means, go for that. Kind of going with a less risky approach here. And let me go ahead and try to get that PrizePicks by the day going as well for you guys. Let's see. What's interesting, just in general for WNBA, Angel Reese, her fantasy score was her under was one of the better ones as well. But now it's been adjusted. Just I thought it'd be interesting to note. Yeah, give me a second here. And honestly, we could use that MMA one, that prop line difference one that we have for MMA. Not even gonna try to butcher his name, but we could be running that one out as well. Abdul, I think that's his first name. where we're getting that big prop line difference. So we'd be betting the over significant strikes and then the under significant strikes. Like, I think that's a decent route to go. And so I'll show you guys the prize picks by the day in just a second here. It gets a little slow, the internet, when I do these live streams. I mentioned that a couple of times here. Give me a second. All right, I got it now. All right, so here's what it would be for prize picks, guys. Again, just echoing again, trying to do more 5 and 6 slip bets, at least right now. Just showed you guys on Underdog. Could do a 3 slip bet, but again, if you wanted to stretch it into a 5 slip bet, I don't mind that with the discount as well. You'd be doing the over here because this is at 19.5. And I'm not an MMA expert. I don't know at all. I'm not even an MMA guy. So I don't know. I don't have any idea if that's a good or bad line on either site. So I definitely am just purely middling there. And then we got Brianna Stewart for less than her fantasy score. Nemo for less than his same fantasy score. That's a better one that we have. And then obviously this one is a big prop line difference that we're getting. And then Castillo for his less than fantasy score is also a good one. So a decent 5 slip bet here. I would say clearly because yesterday was not a good day prize picks wise. Probably a better likelihood to have a good prize picks day. Just that's kind of what's been working. It's been very annoying prize picks wise. It seems like the days I don't give like content out to you guys, the bets really hit, and then yesterday didn't hit. Obviously, still a profitable day yesterday with the underdog bet going 5 or 4 for 5, but that was super annoying, very annoying. And then just so you guys can see, I'll show you guys kind of what I'm looking at underdog wise as well. Let me just refresh that so we can so I can get that queued up, just so I can get the discounts in there as well. I mentioned Underdog is typically, I don't know why, it's always slow on the desktop, especially compared to their app. It's super annoying. I just don't like Angel Reese's points prop. I just don't want to target that one. Seems a little bit too risky. And so we got a comment saying Tanner's back in there now. Yeah, and sometimes I just need to refresh this. Okay, that's weird. That's so weird. The line didn't move at all. So then we got another 5 slip bet here as well. So I'll get that queued up so you guys can see that as well. Oops, one sec. There we go. So here we go. So let's just show this one as well. So yeah, Jack Flaherty for over his pitching fantasy score. We know that that's one of the better ones today on Underdog. We got Marte for over his hitting fantasy score. You guys already saw that. So again, I'm trying to hit that middle with that MMA. Again, don't know that at all. Going with Stewart, and then we got Tanner again for his lower fantasy score. Kind of double dipping there with PrizePicks and Underdog. Again, much better line on PrizePicks because at 38.5, still at 36.5. That is still a big prop line difference compared to the average sportsbook line, but I will say if we can find a better bet throughout the day that pops up where we can replace this, because we already are gaining a pretty massive edge in comparison to the prize picks line, I'd rather just get my exposure there. We could potentially replace that, but obviously want to make this a 5 slip bet. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you there, but I'm a degenerate. Aren't we all in some capacity? A little bit if we're betting on all this stuff. I can show you the prize picks one again. Give me a second. I'll get that the screenshot pulled up again here. Give me one sec. So it's basically going to be similar, but a little bit different here with what we're looking at for that the prize picks bet. And then we'll be getting out of here. So here it is. So this is what we're looking at here. So again, if you guys just want to do a 2 slip bet, you could. Like the 2 best ones that we have are these 2 right now, I would say personally, but we still have Castillo where that's a pretty good under bet. Stewart, less than fantasy score. And then again, trying to hit that middle with MMA. Hopefully it's not like yesterday where I think it was like the first 3 on Underdog hit, and it seemed like the 4th was getting a hit as well. And I don't know if it was the fourth or fifth prop bet, but it seemed like it was going to be all right. We got 5 for 5 coming this day. It's looking good. And then the last one hits, and I say that because we have one really late night game with Castillo there, and that'd be a terrible hook that we could get there. But yeah, so seemingly a decent board on PrizePicks today, at least better on paper than what it's been. So hopefully that means a good thing. Again, just want to reiterate, been trying to do more 5 slip bets. Obviously, that's not going to hit as frequently. That's why I've been pointing out the 2 slip bets I'd be running out. If you guys wanted to go that route. But that's going to be all for today's video. Quick and easy video. Working on a quick, I want to touch on an MLB update that I'm working on real quick. I think people will like this. I'm working on like a sportsbook screen for the games, if that makes sense, because right now, I'll just show you guys kind of what I mean. Just real quick. I think it'll be a fun update. I think it'll be a useful update as well. Probably what I'm going to work on the rest of the day here. Basically, right now, if you guys want to sort by like game total, you just want to talk like a higher game total, you could do that, obviously using the slider. I want to work in a way where we could just have this as a pop-up where you can see all the game breakdowns of kind of the total spread, which team's projected to win, which pitcher are they going against and whatnot. I think that'll be a useful tool, or we could just sort it by game. Like right now, if, like I added in this little section, like player versus who they're going against. Right now it's set up where you can only go by team. I'm going to set it up by game. And I think that'll be a little bit more useful. We can kind of finagle that a little bit more. Got a good question here. No, so this isn't a middling opportunity. This is just more the line is wrong on both sites in comparison to how Vegas sees this going. It's just a much better edge today on PrizePicks. I'll show you. I'll pop it up again real quick. So it's not like when we adjust his line for PrizePicks scoring when we're looking at it via Underdog, it's not off by that much. So you got to remember slightly different scoring between PrizePicks and Underdog when it comes to fantasy score. It's basically in the quality start and the win as well. But I'm guessing the big difference here and the reason why we're getting a slight edge is PrizePicks is giving him a higher likelihood to get a quality start than one Underdog is doing, but also what Vegas is giving him as well. And obviously a quality start under 3 runs, over 18 pitching outs. And let's just see. I don't know if we're getting those on Underdog today. Yeah, not really. Let's see. Let me pull up DraftKings real quick, seeing if we're getting that on there. Just out of curiosity, real quick. We might not be for DraftKings, but I'm curious. Yeah, no, not just yet, but like that's where the difference is coming is between the calculation for his pitching outs and earned runs. Like I'll pull it up on Underdog. So let's see here. So earned runs lower, so he's expected to get lower there. That obviously increases his likelihood to get a quality start. And they don't have pitching outs here. But obviously, if he's getting like 36.5, that is giving him a decent likelihood to potentially get that quality start. So that's where you get that prop line difference, though. It's just a slightly different value that Underdog, PrizePicks, and the projection data and the average sports book line is given as well. It's just the difference in the win or quality start. All right, but that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Quick and easy one here for you guys. 5 slip bet on both sites. Thank you guys for being here. Good luck today. And as always, let's keep cashing.